for 11 years, Economics Department, University of San Carlos. Even as a child, Attorney Quijano had a passion for helping the poor. Born to Visayan parents, his father a mechanic and his mother a public school teacher, he lived an ordinary life, but not quite so common as it taught him the noblest of virtues. Gifted with a sharp mind, he finished his elementary and as class valedictorian. Second honorable mention in high school, La Salle, Iligan City, and cum laude in AB Economics, University of San Carlos, Cebu. Throughout his academic years, he supported himself through scholarships and even sharing half of his stipend for the education of his brother and sisters. As intelligent as he is, Attorney Quijano has passed the 1983 bar examination, passed the 1980 professional career service examination, the presidential scholarship from 1976 to 1979, and state scholar supported by the City of Iligan as cum laude in 1972 to 1976, high school in La Salle Academy, 1968-1972 scholar. He belonged to the Honor Society, scholar as Honor Society. He was awarded the Local Government Leadership Award in 2002, which is the greatest or the highest commendation ever to be given to honor local leaders who possess exemplar qualities of leadership and skills in local public management and local governance. During his reign, Region 10 had the lowest crime rate. When Attorney Quijano was a new lawyer, he used to eat in our humble restaurant. Remember that, Attorney? His sister, you're very young then. His sister, Ami, who is in California now, which he visited just recently, was my graduate student in graduate school at MSU IIT. So you see, Attorney Quijano is a friend, a neighbor, and the godfather of my only daughter, Cor de Sturas Swan. I hope you still remember that, Attorney. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the chairperson, National Commission for Senior Citizens, Commissioner, Attorney Franklin Quijano.
Good day, everyone. Good day and good afternoon to you, but good morning to us with Professor Barry Pulaos. I thought Barry is in LA, so I was so excited for him, but now I realize we are in the same space. Anyway, I am very happy to be with you, the mothers. You know, it's only lately that I realized that the identity of every person has one marker, which is indelible, and that is the mother's marker. So having said that, one of the considerations we have as we are trying to establish all the benefits of the senior citizens is the question, who is your mother? Uh, in law, as we study identity, we laugh at the fact that the fathers can be shrugged off, but the mothers cannot. Because identity is definite with the mother's marker. But who would know? Because it's dark, the father would not be that certain. So, having said that, we honor you as you define the future for not just the mother, but for humanity. I would like to present the considerations I have over the new work for the senior citizens. As you know, Republic Act 11350 is a new law which was passed in 2019, but the appointment of commissioners started in 2020. The approvals for the organizational structure started in December 2021. And so it was only in 2022 that we faced the issues fairly, and it's in 2023 that we started to appoint our regular employees. That is how different, how difficult starting an agency is. But nonetheless, let me tell you that right now, in the Philippines, we are now building the different regional offices consisting of 16 regional offices in the whole country. BARM should have been 17, but we need to dialogue with the leadership because in that arrangement between BARM and the national government, any agency coming in must pass through intergovernmental dialogue. So we are content right now with 16 regional offices, and there are still about 7 regions that we need to fill up, and we are recruiting for purposes of letting you know. Perhaps you would know anyone who is competent and willing to sacrifice and support the efforts of the National Commission of Senior Citizens. I am referring to Iloilo, Legazpi, Tugigaraw, San Fernando, Pampanga, and San Fernando, La Union, as well as Cagayan de Oro and Jensan. These are the areas which we need additional complements to be able to give attention to the senior citizens all over the country. Organizationally, that's the first thing that I'd like you to know. But I'd like to know that as we started considering the commission, the first thing that we really did was to take a look at the laws, our constitution, which provides for the best platform for not just nation building, but also welfare. And then the first 3 laws, which are very important and crucial because they are the laws regarding the senior citizens. Republic Act 7432, 9257, and 9994. In 7432, this is the creation of the concepts of what a senior citizens is. In fact, it started with a wrong step. In 7432, it says that a senior citizen is 60 years old, but not earning more than 60,000 pesos. Of course, after 11 years, the legislator realized that, money is not an issue for senior citizenship. So with Republic Act 9257, the definition of senior citizen simply says 60 years old, period. No more financial requirement. And then, of course, in 2010, a more expanded law was passed, Republic Act 9994, which defines not just the role of senior citizens in nation building, but also the benefits of senior citizens, which is getting popular all around the world. And sometimes some of the foreigners salivates over the privileges and benefits of senior citizens here in the Philippines. Although much is still wanted for the implementation, and this is the challenge that we are facing. The other laws are accessibility law, which is one thing of a lot of improvements. Then the local government code, legislation which says that each LGU is supposed to have a senior citizen center, but I think a lot of things need to be done because this is an infrastructure law. That means that we need to have funds from not just the national government or local government, but perhaps NGOs may be able to help build senior citizen center. We are also trying to imagine what a senior citizen center is. At times, some bureaucrats commit mistakes of building a structure which is not friendly to senior citizens. I saw one in Samar where you have a 2-story building. Definitely the second floor is less accessible to senior citizens. Only the ground floor is. So I am raising this issue to you because I am actually asking a question. What is the ideal appearance of a Senior Citizens Center. And as I have seen, one of the daycare centers in LA, where I met Ma'am Pearl personally and Ma'am Fe once again, I I realized that a senior citizen center should be in the ground floor. So having said that, I guess my talk today also seeks your help on what the contents are of a senior citizen center. What is its basic features? We are also an adherent to the social reform agenda, which is an internationally acclaimed uh, advocacy to address the issues of poverty, environment, and sustainability. So the social reform agenda tries to address the issues of poverty and even climate change. Lately, we have passed a law which is called Universal Health Care. This is Republic Act 10645. The Universal Health Care in the Philippines says that all Filipinos are recipients of the benefits of the health programs of our country, regardless of age or status in life. So the mandatory PhilHealth or the universal health care covers everyone. And the good thing about it now is that the government has provided for a lot of funds, actually 43 billion pesos, to assure that all senior citizens would have an annual regular medical, dental, optical, ear, and geriatric examination. This is the program that was downloaded from the national government of PhilHealth, but we are actually trying to disseminate information, knowing the limits of information dissemination of government agencies. I made it a point to let all the senior citizens know that they are entitled to a free annual regular medical examination. When I went around, I realized that less than 50% of the seniors are actually availing of a regular medical checkup. And comparing that to my visit in the United States, I realized that we are really below what we should be doing because practically almost all the seniors in the US are so health conscious. In our case, a lot of people want to see a doctor because of financial reasons. And so when I speak in front of senior citizens, I let them realize that money is no longer the issue because funds are available for a free annual medical examination. It is important that the senior citizens would know the status of their health so that exercises could be recommended and be done. Diet could also be made, and maintenance medicines could be made available. This is where the National Commission would like to collaborate with all groups, agencies, NGOs, and all, because we want the medical benefits, including maintenance medicine, to really reach the last senior citizen in the last barangay. So this is one thing that I would hope I'd be able to get some inputs from you as well. The next law is called the Centenarian Law. You know that in the Philippines, as you reach 100, you will receive 100,000 pesos. And if you're a Filipino, whether you are here in the Philippines and abroad, you also are entitled to 100,000 as you reach 100. And of course, in GIST, I'd like to invite all of us who are here to reach 100. Not only because we are entitled to 100,000, but because it seems that this is now the fad, long life. In the Philippines, we have proven that life is longer. In the previous decade, the average lifespan is 69. Now it is 73. And of course, we are way, way below Japan. The average lifespan of the Japanese is 84. Uh, but a lot of them has reached 100. So the centenarian law is really an effort to appreciate longevity. Lately, the centenarian law was amended by Republic Act 11982, and it says not only must the centenarians receive benefits, those who are 80, 85, 90, and 95 may also be able to receive cash gift. Again, this is a restatement of appreciating longevity. And this time in the Philippines, I hope starting next year, because right now they're still looking for the budget. Starting next year, those who are aged 80, 85, 90, and 95, whether residing here in the Philippines or abroad, are entitled to a cash gift of 10,000. So if you're an 80-year-old in the United States, but you're a Filipino, you still are entitled to 10,000. 80, 85, 90, and 95 are the milestone age. Of course, this is creating a stir because some who would want to receive some benefits would say, I'm already 82. Am I entitled to 10,000? What would be your answer? Anybody? My answer is yes, you're entitled to 10,000 3 years from now. Saying it differently will cause a disappointment. If I say, no, you are not entitled to 10,000, immediately the reaction would be, oh, sorry, it's unfair. So the answer I give is, if you're 82 now, you're entitled to 10,000 3 years from now. Uh, that is in gist, in brief, the centenarian law as amended by the octogenarian and nonagenarian law. And the next is anti-AIDS discrimination. This law is there, but it is honored more in breach than in compliance. It says that no one is supposed to be discriminated as he or she applies for work because of age. While this law tends to really be idealistic, the realities on the ground says that the civil service law demands that you are compelled to retire at 85. In fact, 80 is the optional age of retirement. SSS and GSIS law also provides the same. It means that if you work beyond 85, you are no longer entitled to a social security coverage. And this, therefore, is one challenge that the National Commission of Senior Citizens is facing, because we need to change this. A lot of senior citizens who are still strong at 65 or even strong at 80, who still wants to work, are may be able to work but are not covered by insurance, and therefore it tends to really be a discouragement instead of a support. So it is in this aspect that I also want to seek help from you, in that sense that the practices of employment and work in the United States is really so developed that you can even work 3 works in one setting. I mean, can you imagine how opportunities are in the U.S.? In the case of the Philippines, if you have work, you just have to have one work, and you have to report to the other work, and you will be told to resign from the other work. That's how limiting it is in the Philippines. Anyway, this Republic Act anti-AIDS discrimination needs to improve some more. Not not only in theory but also in practice. The next law is called 11916. In Republic Act 9994, the government has spared some amounts for the indigent senior citizens. Indigency in the Philippines is defined as frail, sickly, with disability, but with no visible means of support. And no visible support means you do not have any retirement support coming from SSS, GSIS, PBOW being with the military, police retirement if you're from the police, and private insurance. Also, DSWD has expanded the definition of no visible means of support to include you do not receive regularly from children abroad, the OFWs. And so, even with this very broad definition of no visible means of support, the number of beneficiaries of what we call the indigent seniors in the Philippines has reached 4,080,000. 4 million senior citizens is practically about more than one third of the population of senior citizens in the Philippines. And so that is how the statistics is showing us. There are lots of senior citizens in the Philippines who are poor. Lately, there is a move in Congress to include everyone else as recipient of pension, meaning all senior citizens. This law is still pending approval by the president, and it is still with Senate. Last 2 weeks ago, it passed the final reading in the lower house. This is called the Universal Pension for the Senior Citizens. Actually, Universal Social Pension would be a misnomer because social pension are for indigents. But in this case, with House Bill 10423, everyone else, including those who have pensions, are entitled to the universal pension for the seniors. This is actually breathing space because a lot of seniors who are receiving SSS support still want to receive pension because the SSS retirement that they get are really inadequate. Sometimes some SSS pensioners receive only 3,000 or 4,000 monthly, but the amount of maintenance meds that would be required of them would even reach about 6,000 to 7,000. And so we hope that this bill will be approved into law as it passes Senate and reaches the office of the president. Thus far, these are the laws that I would want to raise to you. And again, I am mentioning all this because I'd like to say that you could be the source of all the rest of the ideas that we want to do with the seniors in the Philippines. In the United States, you have so much in practice to share. Of course, we have our claim to fame because we are situated differently, but we cannot appear to really be arrogant to say that we are the best in the providing service to the seniors, and even say all these benefits is only 10% to the benefits of our senior friends in the United States. So again, if you can share to us legislations, practices, and even suggestions on what to do in the Philippines, I would be very happy to receive those. Just to introduce to you our commissioners, two are supposed to represent Luzon, two for Visayas, and two for Mindanao. And this representation is the presider, being the chairperson of the commission. I am also the chief executive officer of the commission. If I need to introduce each one, you have Enriqueta Rodeles, the lady coming from Samar Leyte, Hidayah Patron, who comes from Davao, Mary Jean Lorenzo, who represents Cebu, but she was a practitioner in Northern Mindanao and even up to the Amay Pakpak. And then you have Edwin Espejo from Jensan. Rainier Cruz is a retired general, and he represents Luzon. Raymar Mansilungan, also Luzon. And of course, this representation comes from Iligan. So practically 3 from Mindanao, because I also identify myself as a Mindanaoan. Let me proceed with the different programs, just so I'll be able to let you know what they are. But on the other hand, for purposes of enriching all these programs, perhaps I would also seek your contribution as to which program needs more improvement, etc. We are still in the process of fleshing it, but let me describe them one by one. At the beginning, when we were appointed, we realized that that sense of entitlement is so remarkably emphasized in the Philippines. When people would visit places, the emphasis would be, oh, senior na ako, ha? But then I realized that maybe there are certain things that we can make use of this sense of entitlement, and that is counting the blessings. The blessing that I have been awakened this morning is blessing enough, and the blessing that Ma'am Fe is able to drink her coffee, di ba? So these are blessings that we want to count. On the other hand, realizing that the senior citizens are a vast reservoir of experiences, knowledge, wisdom, and skills, make us realize that before it's too late, maybe we should organize our senior citizens in such a manner that intergenerationally we would be able to share our skills and our thoughts to the next generation. Imagining a war situation in the world, not just war, maybe famine, maybe whatever. I think it behoves on us senior citizens to, or systematically organize ourselves, share our thoughts, share our skills to the next generation. The survival of this world will depend on the skill sets for survival. And I am reminded of my mother saying that during World War II, they were the ones who made the soap themselves. I wonder if any one of us seniors here still know how to make soap, and are we teaching our next generation how to make soap? That's just one item. There are many other things. In fact, when I went to Ilocos and I was asking them, marunong ba kayo magbayo, magtahip, in the tradition of the farms? Almost all Ilocano seniors whom I met said they know how to do it. But when I asked them, what about your grandchildren? And pitifully, the answer is no. How can this world survive if without electricity and without all these comforts, you would have those problems? So I really realized that one of the programs that needs a lot of maybe innovation, maybe initiatives is senior citizens action for developing our areas, rural and urban, for development and nation building. And so I need your thoughts. I want to pick your minds. Where can we, even as you are in the United States, but where can we um, prominently help our society in creating spaces for development? As you know, uh, for those who are from Iligan, we have problems of water here right now. It's an issue of development. We have problems of signal. In fact, I should have been talking to you one Saturday ago, but signal is a problem. So these are issues of development: water, drainage, electricity, and Manila is red alert, yellow alert, shortage of electricity, and telecommunication, even ability of local government officials to govern reliably. So I would hope that our senior citizens will play a very important role in the nation building by letting us know what more can we do to help this country. We may be on our last chapter or last page, whichever, but we perhaps can still contribute a lot more to making this country really strong. So that's the first program. Perhaps example, uh, I'll show to you a picture which shows that, I met a group of senior citizens in Manila, District 6, and they gave me borloloys, bracelets made of beads. And so I told them, wow, you're making this? Yes, all senior citizens are doing this. So this is their project in District 6. But then, since I was in Malacanang, our office was in Malacanang at that time, I brought them to the canteen beside Pasig River, and I showed them some floating objects in Pasig River, water lily. And I told them, we can do some things for the water lily. It is in abundance, not only in Pasig River, but also in Laguna Lake. In no time at all, these leaders beside me went to the Villar Foundation, got their training on water lily, bag making, tray making. And so in that picture, you will see their products. They were the ones who made the water lily bags, water lily trays with accent. The beads that they were giving me were now used as accent to the bags and the trays. And so I like to say that just as an example, in fact, if you will notice on the right side, there's also the lei made of water lily. Uh, so this is just one example that senior citizens can do a lot of things. The latest of which is when I went to Carmen, Surigao del Sur, and I saw how the 700 strong members of the senior citizens organization are managing the rice dryer, rice mill, piggery, etc. Therefore, from our sense of pride, I can say that if the senior citizens are organized, we would be able to still play a very important role in nation building. Uh, so these are just two of the stories that I'd like perhaps everyone to know, and I hope that we will be able to uh, help in creating spaces of victory for the senior citizens. The next is called WareBed, Wellness, Health, Emergency Response, and Benefits. While we want the seniors to be productive, we also want them to be healthy. How can seniors be productive if they are not healthy? And I have seen in the United States, as I visited you, all the efforts to make senior citizens healthy and well, uh, with daycare center interactions and all. So this is one area which I also need help from you, because even as we know that our government is doing all its best to improve health. In fact, one of the emphasis of the new Department of Health Secretary is emphasize on primary health care. Why wait for the pain to be worse? We have to address the pain earlier. It's called primary health care. So uh, wellness and health is a very important cog in the social preparation for the senior citizens. And we realized that the annual regular medical examination becomes all the more important. We just have visited Japan, and we saw that the preparation for being senior starts when you are 40. When you are 40 in Japan, you start to contribute for long-term care. And so the social security payments will increase as you reach 40. Of course, as you reach 40, the consciousness of reaching 60 or 65 is already there. So these are the things that we thought we should share to you, because we know you are in a more mature environment and you'll be able to help us. Um, the thing about improving our database also becomes very important. We realize that in the Philippines, a lot of stories of maintenance medicine just being thrown and being buried because it did not reach the senior citizens. We think we can do something about that if we are able to improve the database of the senior citizens. The usual excuse of bureaucrats, including those in the Department of Health, is we did not know that the senior citizens needed this. But why order maintenance medicines which are not distributed? And so we are looking at how data can be properly shared. If our senior citizens are complete in data, then we'll be able to help to call our health authorities of the need of the senior citizens for maintenance medicine. In the US, it seems that insurance is so widespread, and even those who do not have insurance are receiving maintenance medicine. So these are the things that we hope we will be able to learn from you as well. The next area is senior citizens' rights. Uh, of course, we are aware that the first right that we should be promoting is the human right. The Philippines still is conscious that even as we care for each other and we are loving, we are family oriented, there still are senior citizens who may be victims of violence. And therefore, one of the things that we are conscious about is to protect the rights of the seniors. Dapat walang senior na inaapi. Walay daog-daogon nga senior citizen. So we are also including this in our information so that we would be able to know which areas we can improve in terms of protecting the rights of the senior citizens. And the other is the health rights, which I just have told you about. We need to really expand the benefits of the seniors in terms of wellness, health, and emergency. And the third right that we are actually being proud about is it's in the Philippines that you get 20% as you ride taxis, you take the bus, you take the train, you take the airplane, you take the boat. in the transportation area, you deserve 20%. And in fact, 20% plus 12, because we are having value added tax. The value added tax is even removed from the commodity if you are a senior citizen. So in the restaurants and in the pharmacies, you get 20 plus 12. But 20 plus 12 is not 32. As we grow old, even mathematics changes. So 20 plus 12 is 28.57, because you have to remove the 20%, the 12% first as value added tax, and that is when you apply the 20%. Also, we are proud to let you know that our congressmen are even uh, more aware this time that the senior citizens have more benefits than the PWD. And so right now, they have rationalized the benefits so that the PWD and the senior citizens have practically the same benefits. For instance, 5% of groceries goes to PWD and senior citizens as discount. But the threshold is in the previous year to 1,300. This time, 2,500 a week for groceries. Times 5%, that's about 125 pesos every week. And since if you are assumed by DTI to be making your shopping weekly, you will receive a maximum benefit of 500 pesos a month of discounts. So these are the things that we would like you to know, that this, in terms of advancement, we are enjoying this in the Philippines, although this is also a hard struggle because our senior citizens have to assert their rights as they interact with some businesses and merchants. But just the same, I think slowly we are now able to convince most of the businessmen of the benefits that goes to the senior citizens in terms of discounts, and of course in terms of non-monetary benefits that include the annual regular medical examination. The next item that I will share to you is social pension. Like I told you, the indigent seniors receive social pension. This time, it's 1,000 pesos a month. So if you are frail, sickly, with disability, and with no regular support monthly, you are given 1,000 a month here in the Philippines as a senior citizen. But this may change. All seniors will now be given. So, of course, the difference is just the social pensioner will receive 1,000. The other pensioners, recipient of the universal pension, will receive 500 a month. The centenarian benefits also goes to the senior citizen. Like I said, 100,000 for 100 years olds, 10,000 for 80, 85, 90, and 95. And this is where we are, this area, this red is really what we are expecting from the SWD to turn over to us. For 5 years already, we have been expecting this. And therefore, we hope that your persuasion may help convince the SWD to turn over the work to us now. We have told them repeatedly that we are ready and able to perform our task to distribute the social pension and the centenarian pension. But until now, we are waiting for them to turn over the 50 billion plus funds. So as we are preparing, including our modes of delivery, we are hoping that they will consider. The next item is risk assessment and safety. We know that you are more aware of this, and we need your experience as well. A lot of senior citizens need to be told that they have to be aware of their risks and safety, even in the wearing of our pants, you know, or in eating, or in crossing the street. The senior citizens have to be risk and safety conscious. And so the practices in the United States over risk and safety may help a lot improve our deliverables to the senior citizens. The next is programs, plans, and research. We want to go into this and your guidance into which areas we can do more may play a very important role. We are coordinating with not just the national government agencies, the local government, but internationally. And so this explains why World Health Organization spent some funds for us to be able to see the best practices in Japan. In Japan, one learning that we had was long-term care becomes very important. And long-term care does not just refer to insurance and health. Long-term care also refers to final retirement. If you retire, you have to choose which best areas you can. And of course, in the advanced countries like Japan, the United States, you already have daycare centers, you have areas of senior citizens for independent living, assisted living, even hospices are well developed. In the case of the Philippines, we want to follow suit in a manner that will befit the cultural practices in the Philippines. The family still is a very strong support system for the seniors, but we have to pat the back uh, of those who have volunteered to help the seniors. Sometimes a member of the family suffers her career or her future just so uh, he or she will be able to serve the senior citizen in the house. I think there could be a lot of system improvement as we appreciate everyone helping the senior citizens. Of course, we are actually just beginning to develop our database together with our communication and information. And I'd like you to know that we have shown a lot of interest and have seen to it that the database be accomplished by the senior citizens. And by this, I'd like you as well to go online and enroll yourself. The OFW is a new area where we have been receiving a lot of attention. Why? Because they have a lot of internet and they would like to enroll themselves in the online registration. In the online registration, these 6 areas are there. We want to know if you have pensions or not, because when in the next time you apply for uh, social pension, we can say that, oh, you already have pension. Why do you ask for social pension? Just like in the United States, we also want to know the health profile, the economic profile, the expertise profile is one of our emphasis because we want to go intergenerationally, help this society, help this country improve in terms of method, in terms of systems, and product development. We also want to know the legal issues of the seniors and, of course, the degree of dependency. Who is supporting who? Is it still the senior citizen supporting the rest of the family, or is the family supporting the senior citizen? These are the things that we are asking. We even sought the help of the ILG. This is the data form on paper, but we are actually having it online. And as thus far, the latest is we have registered 5.4 million plus. This was the other day's data, 5.39. We are now in 5.4 million senior citizens registering online. With 5.4 million senior citizens registering online, our data in PSA says we have 9.2 in 2020, projecting it to 10 million in 2024. Although the data with COMELEC is there are 11.2 million senior citizen electors there, and their registration is still ongoing. So the play is between 10 million to 12 million senior citizens in the Philippines. I hope that will include you who are in the United States. But we are saying that's how big the number is. And we are still hoping that a lot more will register online because it is in data that we will be able to make good programs. Of course, we would like to assure you that this data is well protected and secure. So right now we are helping as well the senior citizens organizations. Just yesterday, I was trying to help the mess that the Zamboanga City senior citizens are having. We really are trying to hope that all senior citizens organizations are governed by rules, and therefore we would like them to have constitution and bylaws. Our findings, a lot of organizations in the Philippines do not have constitution and bylaws in themselves. They are not registered, and so we have offered an opportunity for all senior citizens organization in the Philippines to enroll and be registered with the commission. Those who are already registered will just be recognized. So the way by which we will be able to help improve organization is first to really be methodical, defining their rules. So these are the things that we are doing. We have organized a national advisory body where all government agencies, including NGOs and civil societies, are invited to improve on the programs of the commission. And so these are the members of the national advisory body. And we have just made our Philippine Plan of Action where we have defined certain key result areas to achieve lots of things. Again, it's not about all these, cerebral things. I'd rather go into what action steps must we make. And that is why I have gladly given my nod to the request of Ma'am Pearl to speak with you because I think your experience, your exposure will matter a lot in terms of what we can do. Of course, your mother proposal is also under consideration, but more than that, I am expecting a lot from you who are attending this discussion today. So we are launching an AIDS-friendly program where we hope that our local government and the national government will go into AIDS-friendly activities, including not just accessible structures, but also promoting programs, honoring the senior citizens, giving them attention, health, and otherwise, making them even more productive. So these are the things that we are doing for the next year. We have activities. We want to celebrate the Elderly Week, which is on October 1 to 7. That's the usual in the Philippines. And the first Sunday of October is also the centenarian day. So with all this, we would like you to really be part of us, help us, share to us, or even criticize us, but we want to improve. Our website is ncsc.gov.ph, and if you want to communicate as well, we have ph.ncsc@gmail.com. We are willing to share this presentation, and so we would like to say thank you. I'm ready to take all the questions from you. Salamat kayo.
Sir, I'd like to request po before we start question Q&A, can I open the gallery view so that everybody can be
Yeah,
seen.
yeah. So can I close now?
Yes po. And because I'd like to take a group picture po. So if everybody would like to open your camera so we can get you a group picture of all of us, please. This is really an epic session, you know. Not many times we can invite the chairperson of a very big commission, of the National Commission, and truly we appreciate it po. So please smile. You're on camera, everybody. One more time. Hindi kita nakikita, Dr. Fe. Malabo ka doon, no? Would you like to come closer to me?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I think attorney is ready to receive our question. Please raise your hand. Okay, please raise your hand. And if you're not talking, please will remain muted. Only the one speaking will, para madinig natin at, you know, everybody will be able to participate. But everybody is welcome to ask a question. Go ahead. Raise your hand. You can raise it like that, or you can click the raise hand there. Anybody wants to start a question? To ask a question? Parang wala.
Beth.
Oh, so nagtawag na si Dr. Fe.
Beth.
Beth, do you have a question, Beth? Wala. Did we, understand the explanation? I got it on, I just recorded it, so we'll put it on our YouTube. Is that okay po, attorney? So that we're not able to attend our session can catch up and learn what we discussed today. So, do you wanna ask any question? Ansing, you were not here. Do you have a question, Ansing?
Meron po.
Anong gusto mong tanungin? She's from Pangasinan. Okay, go ahead.
Kasi ma'am, no, kaka-online registered ko lang anong May. Marami nang nakakuha sa amin na ng 6,000 nung April 16.
Oh, very good.
Ako naman, kami naman, wala naman kaming natanggap dahil wala pa daw kaming pangalan doon.
Oh.
May chance pa ba ako makakakuha, ma'am?
Oh, okay. I think attorney will answer.
Yeah. Naimbag na Rabi, Ma'am Ansing.
Ay, marunong siya.
Anyway, the work for distributing social pension is still with the SWD. And this is where I really want to emphasize the importance of the primary data. The SWD does not have a primary data, although it claims to have the listahanan. But the listahanan comes from the local government units. They assimilate that, absorb that with the SWD, make some validation, and bring it back to the field. Problem is, minsan yung mga listahan na dumarating ay hindi tama. Minsan nga may patay na. So these are the things that we are actually worried about that needs to really be done by us when the time comes na i-transfer sa amin. Sa ngayon kasi hindi pa na-transfer. So in the event that may mga question po kayo, Ma'am Ansing, I gave you yung email address natin, yung ph.ncsc@gmail.com, because each time there are complaints, we share that to the SWD for them to act. So kung kayo ay wala pa, I don't know why, I don't know which municipality you are located. Dagupan ba? Mga Tarem, saan? Nakamute po kayo.
Rosales, Pangasinan.
Opo. So sana po isulat nyo na lang kung may mga issues. In fact, I've received issues like may income na, may pension na, tapos tumatanggap pa rin ng indigency. So sabi ko, well, that's the concern of the SWD, but we have to let them know that they have to improve right now. Of course, we are waiting that this work will be transferred to us. So sana po may transfer na. We are actually expecting that next year, kami na po ang mamamahagi. So in your case, Ma'am Ansing, if hindi kayo nasali sa social pension, for the next year, pwedeng doon tayo sa universal pension. Kasi ipapasa na sa Senado with adding Amy leading in the approval of the Senate version of the universal pension for the senior citizens. Yan po yung sagot ko.
Thank you, Attorney.
Faye, you want to ask a question?
I have just a very slight concern. As a diabetic educator here in the United States, it's emphasized that we need to have 150 minutes per week as
Physical
senior citizens,
activity.
physical activity, moderate physical activity, like doing the Zumba, Tai Chi, and everything. And we do that here every week. I hope that practice will also be integrated in your health and wellness program, because that's very important. It's a grant, actually, that we as educators, health educators, we are called community health educators. We need to emphasize that senior citizens should do some physical activities at least 150 minutes per week.
Minutes
Per week.
that
Minutes
has-
per week.
150 minutes per week.
2
Yeah.
hours and a half.
Yes.
2 hours
and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
the whole week.
We will take that advice, Ma'am Pe, and I hope we will be able to get some scientific basis of that, because you know that senior citizens needs to be convinced.
Yes.
It's a recommendation. It's a recommendation.
It's
Then
a
we
research.
will also ask the senior citizens organizations to perhaps create a committee for health education. Tama ba?
Yeah. Tama.
Yeah.
It's a
Sige.
research-based grant, proven already in the United States, that we as senior citizens should do 150 minutes per week for physical activity.
Actually po, that is for everybody. This is the physical activity. The one that I gave you po, that I photocopied and attached to my letter. Ando dun po
Yes.
yung basis. Yeah, physical activity that
Sige.
they modify or they change every 5 years. But taking into consideration also the health condition of the persons.
Yes.
If they are, so they have to undergo like screening by their
Medical examination first before that.
yes, sir. Heart issues, they cannot just do any exercise. So, meron din pong precautions. But as a general universal pattern, it's recommended that adults should take 150 minutes of moderate physical activity. Pwede naman yung mga walking lang, hindi naman kailangan running. Yeah, so yun po ang recommendation. So, sinabi nyo kanina, then can I continue?
Yeah.
That you also want to get our inputs kasi kami po talaga exposed kami. As a matter of fact, that's why we have in our organization, the International Virtual Senior Center, because here, they have to go physically to the adult daycare center and they have to be entitled or eligible with their insurance. The insurance pays. But what we're doing is just offering an online virtual via Zoom, just like right now. So we're doing Tai Chi in this platform. Nakakasunod naman po sila. So sila Ansing yan, sila Nenet, Maria, at mostly po na attend dito. Sila po yung participants natin. And we're doing this all over the world. Meron po kaming yung more ng Zumba every Wednesday, but there are seniors who are younger seniors who are active na gusto nila talaga yung Zumba Gold lang naman po yun. Eh. When you say Zumba Gold, that is for the aged, ano ba, mga 50 years old or depende. Meron naman kasi talaga are able to do it. So, yeah, that is my sharing. Baka may gusto
Thank
pa
you.
magsalita dyan.
Thank you, Ma'am Pearl. We'll take note of that and maybe perhaps you can share us your schedule so that we would also be able to participate in your Zumba sessions.
Actually, in
Let the
brief,
others know about it. Diba?
in brief po, that is what we put in there. We want to invite and we are not charging anything in our sessions. Basta't mag-log on lang sila sa Zoom namin. In fact, ang bottom line po doon, we want to work with your office and the LGUs to provide access. Dun, let's say, basketball court, they put one TV, they use the Wi-Fi, and then seniors can go there to exercise. Yung amin pong mga mode are, for seniors talaga. And we are naman, we want to welcome everybody. So thank you so much.
Sige, Ma'am Pearl. Thank you, noted.
Yeah. So any other questions from our participants? Otherwise, we'll have to say big thank you to Chairman, CEO of the National Senior Citizen Commission of the Philippines. Sir, napaka-honored po namin. You gave us this time. In fact, it is Saturday, should be your rest day, but we just saw your heart talaga na para pang community talaga kayo, and we appreciate you very much po. Sana makasama pa namin kayo dito. Tsaka sir, siguro pag bibisita po kami sa Philippines, can we have courtesy visit po sa inyo?
Yeah, anytime.
Tingin po namin yung niyo, contact information, baka sakaling para
Yeah,
we can...
yung ph.ncsc@gmail.com is sufficient enough, so we will be able to.
Okay. Opo. And we will do our best to share whatever best practices po that we can get from our adult day healthcare centers here na po for any ideas that you might want to pick up.
Attorney, there's another concern. You talk about what kind of a senior citizen center should be built. Now, if you come to United States again, we can show you around the senior citizen center because most of the senior citizen centers here are really very nice, big, and then they have all the facilities for cook. That facility that you saw in Glendale was smaller, but here in
marami po yan.
Marami yung sushi, ang ganda.
Sochi yan. Sila Lorna, taga Sochi yan.
Ang ganda na.
Yeah,
we can show you around.
So, can you give us some videos perhaps of what it looks like so we can give and share to the seniors here in the Philippines what senior citizen center is in the US?
Yeah.
Ma'am Lorna, pwede?
Yeah, Ma'am Lorna. Oh, you're muted, Miss Lawrence. Unmute ka.
On Monday is my pleasure. I'll do it on Monday. I'll send it immediately.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ang isa pa po sanang bago ko malimutan, importante is the diet based on the nutrition guidelines for Americans. I mean, they just use the word Americans because this is a program in the federal government. Yeah. Kadalasan po I deliver this kasi I am a certified health educator for the CalFresh, California. Well, this is a program. So dito po sa aming mga virtual na sinasabi namin, we deliver those modules na galing po sa guidelines for Americans as well as the physical activity. Kasi dapat dalawa po yun eh. We have to look at the diet because actually food is medicine. They don't really need to take a lot of medicine if their diet is proper. So yun po gusto namin mga i-share because we have the materials. And as a matter of fact, and Lorna knows that when I go to the centers, to the adult daycare centers, I deliver presentation on topics like Alzheimer's, memory loss and aging, about nutrition, about breast cancer, anything that is applicable po or important for the senior. So you can share that po if you if you can give us the chance. Anyway, ganito lang naman ang platform namin. It's just virtual.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, attorney, I just gave you another
Diabetes.
when I went to Lorna's sushi
Place.
place with Perla, I saw there Armenians, different
Yes.
nationalities, Armenians, Russians, maraming personalities, maraming nationalities. So we can do that siguro sa sample siguro sa Iligan City or what? Yung sample mo ba, sample senior citizen center mo na parang kagaya sa Philippines?
Si Dr. Fepo, she is doing the diabetes health educator, right?
Yeah.
So she has a lot of modules and she's
Yeah.
doing training which she can also share sa ating mga senior citizens about prevention of diabetes, especially if they're still in the pre-diabetes stage.
Yeah.
What is the mga tips po? More on eating.
And do you know
Ma'am
that?
Beth,
Oh yeah.
would you like your materials to be published in our website so that everyone will look at it as reference, what to do? In the Philippines, so we are facing an increasing challenge for diabetic senior
Yeah, right.
citizens.
Yeah.
And in the past, of course, it was lower. The Ilocano diet becomes one of the model diets in the Philippines.
Because of vegetables.
Minus
Hey.
the bagoong, of course.
Yay.
So we would like to really improve on it and then publish that. Maybe the website would be a good start and then share it with the others, including the Facebook.
Perla, please answer that because I am in a grant and stricto sila dito. Yung module nila talagang i-memorize namin. Walang sobra, walang kulang.
We can research on that po and
Yeah.
then we can our own based on we'll use them as reference
Yeah.
para it is our own but based on the research.
Yeah.
It's a
Thank
public naman because they want people to be healthy.
Yes, thank you.
Also from my knowledge ito sa diabetic education, ang prone sa diabetes sickness are Filipinos.
Yeah,
Asian.
because we eat a lot of rice.
Yes, rice.
Carbs, pansit.
Oh, kaya epidemic.
We take our snacks with pancit and sliced bread.
Yeah, correct.
Carbs po
Grabe
talaga.
ang carbs.
And then soda, I think that
Soda,
the beverage we're not cautious about the beverage, like we are dependent too much on soda.
Yeah.
So we will be learning. That's a nice suggestion. We'll be learning a lot through Perla's mother movement. I know that we can have it published later, Perla.
Yeah, we'll come up po with our and then we'll present it to you based on sabi ko nga the modules that we are using. I-summarize natin.
Yeah.
I think we can help a lot our senior citizens para naman graceful aging, healthy aging sila as long as join sila sa mga programs natin. And of course, we already consider ourselves a collaborator of your office.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tony, thank you so much for that.
Thank you po.
So can I say goodbye now?
Yes po.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat.
Agya manag.
Kayo marunong. Teka nga muna. Intrigue tuloy ako.
Ako yung Ilocanong hilaw.
You don't live there. Wala kayong blood na Ilocano, right? I know.
Well, we have cousins in Ilocos, but
No one. Marami din po kaming kamag-anak mga Santos sa Davao and Gensan because of our lolo, General Paulino Santos.
Oh,
who migrated there and raised his family. I am a descendant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, direct po ako. Mga Villacorta. Thank you
Nice
po.
meeting you, Ma'am Pearl. Sige.
Thank you
Okay,
po.
so everyone, thank you.
I have
Maraming
that
salamat.
knowledge, Coel. Coel, thank you so much for coming.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Sige, attorney, salamat, attorney. Ligano.
Okay, sige. God bless. God bless.
Okay.
Okay, attorney, for the comprehensive presentation.
Maraming salamat. Take care po. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Okay.
Bye.